All right, hey folks, we're going to do some artwork today. Hold on real quick. Let me give you my book cover here while I do my pontificating. Let's go down to... Here's our book cover. Boop. We made around episode 40. Give me a second here. I'm going to check my signal, make sure we're up and running. I'm going to do some quick social media posts, and then we're going to get to some page illustrations today. So, looks like I'm live. Checking in on the signal. Looks like I'm audible. Live. Excellent. We're going to drop that down here and blip. And let's see. We're going to grab our social. We're going to grab the tag here so we can put it on the socials real fast. And then we'll get some artwork done. So social media 1, social media 2, social media 3, and we're good to go. Okay, cool. So I'll fix my menu, my windows real quick here, and let me just say, hey, I'm here 9 times a week. If you think this stuff is interesting, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. There's a bunch of other books that I've made on the DMsGuild, designed, wrote, and illustrated, as well as play tested. Check them out. They all have free previews. If you like them, consider making a purchase if you're a 5e kind of person. Here's the full playlist of all 501 episodes, and here's my socials. Check that stuff out. And I guess without further ado, we're just going to get to work. So let's see. We'll click this into place, and there we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. So let's see. Chunk. Let's get this book cover out of the way. Okay, so we're working on the appendix. We've been here before, so we've got this is the artifact page and the zombie horde illustration that we had done a while ago, like a month or so ago. Here is the up a tree illustration we created for alternate plot hooks with different types of unique encounters that we did a map for yesterday. Here is oh wait, that's not where we're at right now. This page is pretty much done. This page is done. This is where we're at right now. We're doing a map of the region and expanding the adventure. Kyber, the dragon below. If the characters restore the facility, the flooded regions of the map drains through cracks and crevices in the floors and walls, revealing traversable fissures that can lead further underground into Kyber for characters to explore. What kind of space does this take up here? Here. Here. I'm thinking we have this. So we mentioned Kyber the dragon below here, but we're having a map of it over here. So I'm not feeling 100% happy about that page layout positioning, but I'm also choking on how to rearrange it so it sits correctly. All right, so the first thing we want to do is let's see if I can reshuffle the text around just to improve positions altogether. And then we can take off the text here. So we can move this to here, which would be a much more logical place for this to sit on the page. What do the prior pages look like? Yeah, this would actually be a really good placement to have this here. So let's see if we can make that work. It would certainly add variety to positioning. That lines up nicely. Okay, so we'll put that there. We'll drop the opacity here. to our text. Like this. We'll drop this to here. What are all these little specks? Weird. There. Yeesh. I'm not sure how well this is gonna actually work out. We want to grab this here. Grab this block here. Hopefully this is going to work out. This doesn't quite work out. So we can line up the text down here. Hey Steve, how you doing? Going through the struggles of page layout. Revel in the glory, my man. Merge down. Grab this here. Bring this up. To there. Now we need to. I guess this isn't so bad. I just need to trim off a little bit of the lower layer. We still get the point. Facility. NPCs, organizations, and factions. Okay, maybe instead. Ugh, this is welcome to the struggle. This is the reals. We could take the NPC stat. We could take this and make the NPCs and organizations first, and then take the facility and surrounding regions and push them over to the right, and then maybe have the map down at the bottom here to match alongside the facility. Hey Francois, it's good to see you. Long time no see, my man. Glad to have you around. Facility and then NPCs and organizations. Is that how? Yeah, that's. Get out of here, scallywag. That is, I guess, how it's structured at the front end. So I mean, that's not unrealistic to set it up that way. So let's see what we can do to set it up that way. I know this isn't the most exciting content, but it's where we're at right now, my boys. That's good. We'll grab this. There. Here. Ooh, this might not end well. I got that much text, and I've got this much Shit. 12, Iter Academy, the church, the gatekeepers, refugee settlers. Let's see if we can make this work. I've got my doubts. I might have to fit it. I might just have to leave it over in that corner because it's the only place I can make it fit. I'm not happy about that as an idea. Take this, drop it in here. Bastion, Emerald Claw, Red Wolf Mercenaries, 12. Iter Academy, Gatekeepers, Refugee Settlers. Okay, let's take this block here. Oh, I see what's going on down here now. Thank you. That makes sense now. Bring this up. To here. Jesus, that does not leave a lot of space for the map. That feels insufficient. That is insufficient. Facilities and surrounding regions, Bunker Fortress, Refugee Village, Bunker, Khyber, Planum a bar. That would be a more logical flow. Have the bunker, maybe the village, then the bunker, then Khyber, and then the Planum a bar. By darkness, the planes remain tethered together in this region for months to come, increasing chances of dark creatures finding their way into the Carnwood when the moon of Mabar is full again, endangering refugee settlers new to the region, ignorant of its histories and threats. I like the idea of this. If I could just, let's see. Once the Emerald Claw are defeated, the mercenaries are unemployed. The Emerald Claw is plural mercenaries. So I guess I could go like cultists. Hey, oh, right on, man. Worthwhile. If they have a hostile disposition towards the characters, the skirmishing veterans can remain in the region as a lingering threat to the local. If they are friendly, if they have a friendly disposition towards the characters, they may seek to serve the characters in the local village to make amends in the community, and to have a stable leader that can use the skills the mercenary. Well, they didn't do anything wrong. They don't need to make amends to the community in the region. So I could trim out that statement and have a stable leader that can use the skills the mercenaries possesses. I could trim out all that fluff. If they have friendly disposition towards the characters, they may seek to serve the characters and the local villages while building the reputation of the company with Karnath law enforcement. I'm gonna merge these together. This isn't quite what I expected to be doing right now, but it's what we have to do. So I'm gonna have to eat this. They have a friendly. I try to get things set up so you guys don't have to mess around with stuff. But when I look at a page, I'm like, is this right? And before I commit myself to doing the art in the space that's available, I have to make sure that the surrounding text is where I actually want it. And sometimes that means I have to give it another look, which means we have to do some text sculpting. If they have a friendly disposition towards the characters, they may seek to serve. They seek to serve the characters. Thank you, Timely Timer. They seek to serve the characters in the local village. To serve the characters in the local village while building. There you go. So if I trim that text out, bring the whole of it up. Fort Bastion Regional Sheriffs. Eastern Karnath is vast plains and deep forests left unchecked in the years of the last war. If the characters take interest in the well-being of the region, they can receive adventure hooks from the sheriffs based in Fort Bastion, whether the characters are officially deputies or not. I can trim that line out. That's more flavor text. That's just pontification. That is not necessary for the body. So let's grab this text here now. Gatekeepers, Church, Aider Academy, the 12, Red Wolf Mercenaries, Fort Bastion, Red Wolf Mercenaries, Emerald Claw. Let's go. Let's take the Emerald Claw. Drop them to the bottom of the list here. Merge. And now we can take the refugees, refugee settlers. Perfect. All right, drop them in here. And that creates the space that we needed. We need to swap these two. Fort Bastion, refugees, Red Wolves, Emerald Claw, 12. Aider Academy. And then through the hooks. We did it, boys. And it's reasonable for me to trim off this bottom fluff down here. So, okay, great. Hey, we just did it. We were able to successfully recreate the space to be able to accommodate the image that we wanted. Whew. All right, so let's get back to work. Let's just make this image good. I'll go back through tonight and I can rearrange this text. Make the corrections that we need. We've got a slew of illustrations back here. We're going to probably spend, I suspect we're going to spend the next month in this section of the document, just building out page art and stuff. Yeah, let's get on it. Let's get after it. That's a little pinched. Text. Locks on those. Ungroup that layer. Grab this down here. is pushing too far. Like that. I already can't. Let's do it this way instead. Okay, that lines up better. Oh, let's merge those down. Yeah. Just gonna take this whole like that. I'll do the same thing over here, just basically doing this fading blend just to work it into the environment. Page. Fading off into another direction. Drop. Dots, dots. Don't need that anymore. This isn't even a page. Okay, get rid of that. Numbers, dots. We're using the Atrios font for icon buttons. So we'll need to apply that appropriately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little top heavy. We could, let's see. To disappear that, conceal those numbers. You can trim here. here. This is making sense already. Is that right? Here? This isn't the same. Yeah, I don't have the same sort of free flow conversation that I normally like to have. Normally I can just art and ramble while I'm arting, but I currently don't have that freedom of thought because I'm doing this graphic design work to make this thing fit, which is not how I like to do. Words, Kearney. That's the problem. It's lacking words. I'm gonna drop this in here like this. See if we can make that happen. But this is part of the process. We have to do. This is stuff that has to get done if we're going to complete the book. So hopefully everyone enjoys the struggle. We'll get into more freeform illustration stuff here pretty soon. Let's merge these two things down. Merge those layers. Like that, and then this feels crowded, so I want to open that up a little bit. So we're going to do this to close off this passage over here until we're able to reorganize all of this to make more sense. What I feel like I need to do is grab this and drop it down. I'm going to cut and paste there. Drop these down to here. That should give us enough breathing room. To fill this back in. Not get in the way. We don't actually have a map of Kyber, although with enough interest, I would certainly be willing to consider making a Kyber map to sit underneath here. That is certainly not beyond the possibilities. It's more of just an opportunity for you to, like, as a launching point, to include your own mythic underground. That stuff that's now occupying, yeah, that's a better space. We'll just merge these things down for now. Let's merge them down for now. 5 is Kyber. 4 is the facility. 1, 2, 3, 4, so good. And then fixing the numbers, we'll also have to do that. I'll do that tonight. That's more material that isn't necessarily interesting to look at. That feels pretty good. Goes off screen like that. Let's make these bigger. One, two, three, four, five. There we go. Okay, that should work. Icons. Take this map. Drop its opacity. And let's rebuild this real quick into something. I can use a more delicate line here. Let's drop down to a 4. Okay, fine, 5. So we have the cemetery here with its fallen walls, internal structure. Like that. Yeah, let's set a base across here like that. Down here, like that. Let's block in here. That's about the right position for this. There's 2 hidden passages in the cemetery that lead to the underground facility. Thank you, Timely Timer. How are we doing on time? 7 o'clock, we're doing great. We are doing great. here, and here. Center this over. We'll go to here, and we have the fort ruins. With the central shaft that drops directly down into the facility. Let's do it like this. So far, so good. And then we have the flooded fortress here. Paste. This drops down into the facility here. We'll just leave that open. That feels good. That's about right. There to there. Doesn't have to be precise. I know this. Does not have to be perfect. But if it can be perfect, all the better. Works down. Get that here. Welcome to the mix, folks. How you guys doing? We're doing some. We're just doing some page illustrations for this adventure that we're building. We'll just leave it like that. I don't need to make it too complicated. There's one entrance. There it is. So fort ruins here. Central the gate, the repaired gatehouse, and the cemetery. Good. That feels good. Now let's clean up all the line work around it just to make sure we don't have any weird remnants, and we'll just basically block this all in. And then here we go. Block that in. Block that in, and then we'll do Kyber beneath. Let's do there. Drop that down here. Good. And then across to here, down to here. Get our framing in. Good. That, and then chirp, chirp, chirp. That. There. It's getting in the way. Filigree be gone. Where's your gap, honey? Where are you gapping on me? What is that? That's the gap. Right. Cover. No, that's not the right layer. Merge down. Good. So far, so good. So what? Operating in the negative space. Listen. Why are you not behaving? Do you have a gap somewhere? There it is. Nope. There's supposed to be another gap somewhere. I don't see it. There it is. There we go. Too linear. That feels better. Yeah, okay. That's just some random shapes. I think we'll just go with that and block it in. I don't really... We don't actually have an official map for the Kyber. So, it doesn't really matter. We just need something jagged and interesting looking, and then we can move on from there. So, in that spirit, let's make this jagged, interesting, and then move on. So, we can drop that background for now. Shows how insignificant in size the maps that we have in the adventure are compared to the scope of Kyber beneath. That is the intention. Let's zoom in so we can get rid of these little pox here. So a little bit of cleanup. We'll finish this well enough for today, and then we'll move on to the next thing. I'm going to switch to my razor. I think that'll help get rid of the cleaner edge will help. I think with the stone material that we're working in over here, make it less curved, more angled, more chipped, more yeah. I like some wearing, which is curve, but for the most part, it should be chipped, which is edge. here. Yeah, this is a less interesting episode. There's we do all sorts of different type of stuff. We do maps, we do character art, we do creatures, we do objects, magic items, materials, as well as illustrations, paintings, environmental stuff, structures. So there's a wide variety of different type of illustration that you need in an adventure for it to be whole, like for it to cover all the ground that it needs to cover. And that means that there's a pretty wide variety of things that we have to do, which means if the people that tune in are people that jumped on stream because they like me doing Bob Ross paintings, I'm not doing a Bob Ross painting right now. I'm doing cartography. So that'll please the cartographers that are in the audience, but not the Bob Ross enthusiasts. There's a pretty wide variety of different stuff. It's difficult to build a channel with such the algorithms don't reward diversity. I'll put it that way. So I really appreciate and value everyone that's interested in the overall effort of what we're trying to achieve. So thanks guys for being here and checking this out. Mostly I started originally streaming just because I needed to guarantee I'd put my butt in the seat and get stuff done every day until we can move it forward, because these things are intimidating. They're large blocks of effort that there's a little dopamine hits that I get along the way of completing different things, but for the large part, it is a monumental task that doesn't have a big payoff until like it actually publishes, which is, you know, hundreds of episodes of production. Yeah, right on. Appreciate you, Francois. Very much. There we go. You get that. I'm just cleaning up these lines here real quick so we can go and we can scratch at the negative space that we built in here to represent the caverns. So just got to do the diligence. Good. Good. There's a struggle that happens here, in that I only have so much time off screen, like in the evening, to work on these things, and I have to divide my time between prepping enough content for the next day for us to be able to move forward with on stream versus fixing the stuff that we found needs revisions on stream. And then like for example, there's monster stat blocks and the mob page. These are things I need to revise. I need to find time for. I'm struggling with right now. I am hard pressed on time in my life. So I'm running the mega dungeon that we're running for the martial powers that requires maps, which takes time, plus all the off-screen time for prepping and fixing and evolving the pages here for this adventure. Boy, I am pressed. Between just those two things, that is a lot going on. That requires a lot of hours of work off screen. Like I can't build the maps to the playtest because all my playtesters came from the stream. So like my playtesters watch this channel fairly regularly. So I can't be drawing all the maps for the dungeon they're going to explore because they're going to know where all the goddamn secret passages are if I illustrate them, like if I literally map them here on screen. We'll figure it out. We always do. We always find a way. I'm just bitching right now because I'm just so crushed on tasks. So many tasks that are stacked up on me right now. It wears the morale down. Let's just say that. We'll use a masking layer to straighten to get the proper fade for this stuff. That's good. That feels good. That's good. That's good. 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 Here. This weekend, I'm going to officially start rebuilding the all the NPCs and creatures that we had made using 2014 rules when we made this. I'll be updating to 2024 stat block method, and then building out the mobs page. I'll walk you guys through mobs when we get there. But we revised the mob combat rules that are in the DMG 2024. They're not very good. So we needed to do something better, and we did. So far, playtesting on that's been coming along really nicely. It's pretty much matching the intent and similar methodology that we had used for the mass combat warfare system that we developed for 5e. But at a practical 5-foot scale. That feels pretty good. Let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to open up space down here so I can drop the 5 down lower. Good. Let's go off this direction here. It's gonna work out. Let's do it like that. Get the hell out of here. Thank you. There. There we go. Merge down. We'll be working on a different page tomorrow. But this is the next page. This was literally the next page on the list. So here we are working on it. And that's how it flows, you know. Take 5 here. Take 5. 1, 2, 3 across the top. Good. 1, 2, 3. We can afford to drop the elevation there a smidge. Let's get our filigree back on frame. Thank you, filigree. And block that all back in. Put our filigree back in effect so we have a sense of proportion. I'm gonna drop that down here like that. Here. Maybe. Maybe we that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Nope. That's nope. Over the center. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That sits pretty. little bit. Let's take this and make more of something out of this than it is. At this point, we're just kind of futzing around with details. Just making sure none of the shapes looks like, nothing looks like too weird. Try to fill in all these things to make them look a little more natural. Feels pretty good. Round off all these shapes. Let's grab our razor. Here a little bit to break up the surface. Just texturing. There you go. Is a little too rough hewn. Needs to be a little more worked. It's not literal. The ratios here aren't actual ratios. It doesn't have to look it doesn't have to look at least like it's intentional. natural. Right now I'm just trying to go for more organic shapes instead of just weird negative space left from pen marks. You know, everything looks a little marked right now. I just want to look a little more intentional. Good. Plug that in. Stalagmite bits. Checka. Yeah, I like that. I'll just fill that in here. Thank you, Timely Timer. How are we looking? 7:45? Okay, I've got like 5 minutes left. Yeah, we'll give ourselves 7 minutes. Then we'll finish for the day. We'll come back. We're going to work on something completely different tomorrow, whatever it is. I have no idea what it's going to be. It won't be this. So I got a lot on my plate for the weekend. I got revising the stat blocks to the 5e2-4 mechanics. I want to break up the maps in part 2 and 3 into workable chunks that I can just drop into the pages and start because we can do map areas for the different dungeons. That'll be a lot of, like, the actual illustrations, like a lot of the illustration, quote unquote illustrations that are between like page 36 and 84, or rather 36 and 77. That like 40-page block is mostly just maps, like map rooms or map areas and stuff that just need to be positioned and then framed on the page properly. And so that's going to probably eat, if I can break those things up and drop them in this weekend, we can at least get, like, between this weekend and next weekend, I can get all of those map pages, all the pages prepped with those initial map spaces for us to then go and break down and work into the page. Now, position on the page properly. So like this one, like, we're illustrating this map right now because this is like an idea, but the actual adventure already has all these maps done that we're dropping into the pages. Well, for the most part, they're done. There's some regional maps that aren't quite ready yet, like some forest maps and stuff. But we've been dropping those into the document and updating them. We're running out of things to do. It's just it feels like a lot because there's just so many steps and processes involved. But the vast majority of work is actually done. We have some character and location art to do still in this section of the book, which we will be getting to tomorrow plus. So we're always working on something different here, just depending on what's the next thing in the process. So I think I'd like to do some environmental art, like for the manifest zone and stuff, but I don't know what space is going to open up in the pages where we're putting all the maps in. I think that's going to eat up almost all of the real estate. But I think there's opportunities, so I'm going to keep an eye out for opportunities for us to do a little bit more environmental, like swampy type stuff and whatever. I think opportunities will arise, but we still need to work through map placement. That's our primary concern right now is going to be map placement, so that we can push forward with all of that content here for the next couple weeks here on screen. I'm getting Terraria vibes off of this. That I guess any side scroll dungeon delver I'd get Terraria vibes off of. Yeah, that feels really good. This is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Just filling out a little bit of details and then we'll be done. Move on to the next thing. There. Not very conversational here, unless you like just like watching me push pixels around. I can see this not being very exciting. It's not just, that's one of the problems. I don't necessarily know how the workflow is going to go here on stream. I don't necessarily know how much open space I have in my brain to be able to just randomly talk about stuff while it's not actual illustration, right? So my brain doesn't have the same freedom of movement to just kind of wander around in conversation. I'm actively thinking about, like, what do I need to do here? Does this look right and stuff like that. I usually don't have that when I'm doing actual illustration. Actual illustration is just like empty brain space. It's just null time for me to be able to meditatively relax. This is not necessarily relaxing meditative space. So I end up having a lot of, yeah, this is far from my best stream. This is not a great stream today. I'm gonna apologize for it. I just recognize that I was inside my head a lot and observing the screen a lot more than sharing my thoughts about stuff. But I guess that's how it goes sometimes, you know? All right, I gotta bounce out of here. I feel like I could work this this cavern over here a little bit more, but that really is just starting to get nitpicky. There, that feels pretty good. All right, I'm gonna let that sit. We're gonna come back and word up. I appreciate you guys being here. I guess I could have it pan out and continue scrolling over here. There's a debate about, like, these little blocks of space down here. I can obviously cram a shitload of pixels and detail into these little corner nooks, but how much do I really need to do that versus just generally texturing? What I'm going to need to do soon is figure out what the actual filigree border here actually looks like. So we'll probably have to. We're about at the point where we need to really start thinking about that, so we can look at how are we going to use what this frame is to help further texture stuff into the interior. Because I like to break frame and just have texture pour in from the edge of the page into blank space that doesn't warrant a full illustration. But I haven't sussed that out quite yet. So that's it for now. I'm going to bounce out of here. I do need to put some circle marks on here. I need to put circle. Circle, 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 and circle. To make sure I go back through and clean up the text on that. But for now, I'm going to let that sit. We have this piece here. We have potential illustrations here. We got a lot of gap in the middle of the page here. What are we talking about down here? Secret passage. This is for family and friends. Jesus, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Including the adventure. Escape prisoners. God, there's so much empty space in here. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to fill that. Challenges within challenges, my friends. All right, we'll figure it out. That's what we get paid to do. We'll do it. All right, that's it for now, guys. I'm gonna be back. I'll be back tomorrow morning to work on another page. I'm just gonna keep pushing through until the whole thing is done. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.